or move on. So that means there's a real demand for new talent to step in and fill those shoes. And that makes project management a really exciting career path right now.
Yes, I know with a couple of the clients that I've been working with over the last couple of years, the average years that employees have been working there is about 25 years. So that's really close to retirement. And I'm seeing this talent gap in all different industries. I'm currently in the agriculture, kind of food manufacturing. But what other industries are showing a lack of where they really need project managers?
Yeah, you're definitely spot on. It's not just one industry feeling that pinch. Besides agriculture and food manufacturing, we're seeing a real need for project managers in tech, healthcare, construction, and even finance. All of these fields are dealing with complex projects and big transitions, and they really need people who can guide those efforts smoothly. So it's definitely a broad landscape of opportunity out there.
Yeah, and I was going to say a couple other reasons why there's a demand for project managers is that there's increased project skills or project-oriented skills that are needed in all industries. The demand for project managers are especially rapidly developing in countries where they're doing tech and healthcare, and most of the companies are trying to get like a product to market. So you would do product management, but in order to take an idea into implementation, it is going to take a project manager to help get that done.
Absolutely, and that's a fantastic point. It's like every industry is becoming more project driven, especially when they're racing to get new products or innovations out the door. So having someone who can turn that vision into a real actionable plan is huge. And that's why project managers are so crucial right now. They're the bridge between the idea and the reality. Thanks for highlighting that.
Yep. And I was going to say, kind of talk about reasons why you chose to be a project manager, and then I could talk about some reasons why I chose to be a project manager.
Absolutely. I'd love to share that. So for me, I think one of the big reasons I've always drawn to project management is that I really enjoy bringing structure to big ideas and seeing them come to life. It's that mix of problem solving and working with different people that really appealed to me. But I'd love to hear your reasons too.
And that's one of my big reasons is being able to solve a problem. Back a few years ago, I was just given, I do a lot of meditation and just kind of thinking and focusing, how do I want my life to go? And I was doing that, and God brought to my forefront, like, Bianca, if you help people solve problems, you'll never have to worry about a job or a career. That's going to be your career, is to help people solve problems. And when you talk about project management, that's basically all I do. I love to help people solve problems, but then from my perspective, I'm able to bring those problems and make them smaller so it doesn't feel so large and massive. So breaking those problems down into smaller chunks so that they're more realistic, and then people know we can get results quicker and faster because they understand how to do that.
I love that perspective. It's such a powerful way to look at it, turning big, overwhelming challenges into manageable steps. And it really does show how project management is all about problem solving at its core. It's amazing how that insight guided you, and it's definitely a career that lets you do exactly that. Thanks for sharing that.
So when we talk about project management and we talk about like there's a need for project managers, we talked about a talent gap, we've talked about having good communication skills, but what other skills do you think are necessary to be a successful project manager in today's marketplace?
Yeah, definitely. So in addition to communication, I'd say a big skill is adaptability. Things change quickly in projects, and being able to pivot and adjust is crucial. Also, having a good grasp of technology and project management tools is really helpful. And of course, a bit of leadership and team motivation goes a long way. It's really about blending the skills together.
When we talk about Agile and Scrum and doing projects more of an iterative fashion, I remember back in the day we would have a project, we may work on it for 3+ years, and then at the end of the project we didn't get everything that the business wanted, or we didn't meet all the results. But now from an Agile perspective, we're able to take ideas to concepts and get into the marketplace a lot sooner, a lot quicker. It doesn't have to have all the bells and whistles, but if we have 10 kind of features that someone wants, we may be able to get out the door with 5 and then iterate and bring those other features on, what you call minimal viable products. So agility is very, very important in today's society, and especially since technology is changing so much, you need to be able to adapt and be able to move quickly.
Absolutely, and you've hit the nail on the head. Agile really does change the game by letting teams deliver value faster and then improve as they go. And like you said, having that ability to move quickly and adapt is just so essential in today's fast-paced world. It's all about getting that minimal viable product out there, learning from it, and then building on it. So yeah, agility and that iterative mindset are definitely key.
We've been talking about some of the kind of skills that people have, but what about some of the soft skills that project managers really need to develop? We have a good sense of knowing PMI and the knowledge areas, but what would you consider some of the soft skills that project managers must or become accomplished in?
Absolutely. The soft skills are just as important. I'd say one big one is empathy. Be able to really understand and connect with your team and stakeholders. Another is good active listening, so you can hear what people need and respond effectively. And of course, a bit of conflict resolution and negotiation skills can go a long way. Those interpersonal skills really help a project manager keep everyone on the same page and moving forward together.
Yes, those are really good. When you talked about the interpersonal skills, that's very important, because what I've noticed in industry and working is just being an influencer, which is very important, because as a project manager, you are the glue that holds everyone together. And if you're not able to really influence people, which having good communications, making sure people understand the vision and mission, that's important. But being able to influence decisions or make people kind of do things that you want. I remember early on in my career, I worked with the state of Ohio in their Department of Education. I was younger then, and a lot of the, again, age employees. There was a guy who was close to retirement. He had been working in the IT department for quite some time, and he looked at me like, what is this green bean? And that's what they used to call people that were just coming out of school or new to the profession. What is this green bean? How can she actually help me? And everyone was like, he is like the meanest person to work with. And he was kind of grumpy, And so what I did when we talk about influencing and making those connections that you need, we were talking, and I found that he had worked on a Y2K project. And I was like, oh my goodness, I did Y2K. Exciting. We have a connection now. And so what I did for my team for Y2K to celebrate the success of our project, I brought people a snow globe that had a computer in it, and then the computer went haywire. So you shook it up, this computer went haywire, and then you had the snow to come out off of it. And so one day, I said, okay, I know how I'm going to bridge this gap. We're getting better communications. And I actually, the next day, sent him a gift. So it was a pretty bag, a gift that had the snow globe in it. It was all packed up and pretty and packaged. And later on the following day, he came and said, my goodness, I love this. I guess it's a trinket. I love this trinket. I'm most definitely going to put it on my desk. And we became like this tight, the best of friends. And everyone was wondering, Bianca, what did you do to this guy that you're able to start communicating? He's opening up to you. You guys are developing a good relationship. So as we said, communications, being an influencer, and really pulling the team together is exciting.
Absolutely. That's such a perfect example of how those soft skills really make a difference. It's those personal connections and that little bit of influence that can turn a challenging relationship into a collaboration. And it really shows how a project manager does become that glue that holds everything together. So thanks for sharing that story. It's a great reminder of how those small gestures and good communication can really transform a team.
Well, I think that's it for this segment. Thank you for sharing some of the top reasons why project management is a great field. Like I said, I've been in it for a while, and I believe people, especially women over 40, or just women in general, we have some of the natural skills in everyday life, such as managing the household, working in organizations that we volunteer in, All of those skills are necessary for project managers, and seeing that there is a market for project management, I think people who may not think they have those skills really have them, and this will be an easy transition where they can find opportunities that's going to be a long time when it comes to longevity in the workplace, also when it comes to financial security, and then also just have a love for what they do. I'm excited to share this video with other people so they know, even though you may not think you have the background, you have those skills already, and it's just how to fine-tune, hone them, redo your resume, and develop how you can upskill so that you really present yourself in the best light.
Absolutely, and I love that message. It's so empowering to remind people that they probably already have so many of the skills they need. It's just about recognizing them and then polishing them up a little. And like you said, it's a field that offers not just job security and financial stability, but also a lot of personal satisfaction. So I think that's a perfect note to wrap up on. Thanks for sharing that, and I'm sure your audience is going to find it super encouraging.
Take care. Bye-bye.